Barbara Russo straight up never bought into that luck crap. Nah, she was ride or die for the overtime grind. Pulling double shifts, ditching her own dental cleanings just so Jessica could guzzle them fancy almond milk lattes and shack up in a $1,100 a month crib right off the strip. She was all about that low-key mom pride, raising her girl solo ever since Tony bit the dust in a warehouse screw-up. When Jessica was 12, and don't sleep on that Nike shoebox stashed under her bed. Every Venmo receipt folded up neat like love letters she'd never get returned. It all popped off with $700, smack in the cereal aisle at Smith's on Eastern Avenue. Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. Barbara's posted up under them, humming fluorescent lights. Box of Frosted Flakes in one hand, her beat-up phone in the other. Venmo notification lights up like a jackpot. Jessica Russo requests $700. Wedding savings. Venue deposit due tomorrow. Love you, Mom. Barbara's thumb just hovering there. Her checking account sitting pretty at $2,413.12. Rent's coming due in 9 days. $1,150 straight. Car insurance. $189. No joke. She smashes approve. That lil geet ping hits like a slot machine going off. Except the house always takes the W. And the house? That's Jessica, fam. She slides the Frosted Flakes back on the shelf generic cornflakes, clocking in $1.89 cheaper. Easy save. That night, chillin' in her one-bedroom Summerlin pad with the leaky kitchen faucet she ain't never got time to mess with, Barbara yanks the Nike shoebox from under the bed. Size 8, 2017. The kicks Jessica rocked to her high school graduation, hugging Barbara so damn tight, the principal had to straight up pry 'em apart for the pics. Boxes packed now with 31 printed Venmo receipts. A crumpled up grocery bag rockin' Jessica's loopy-ass handwriting. Mom, need almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk, and those pink cupcakes for the bridal shower. An Etsy invoice for a silk flower wedding arch in ivory, and a hospital bill for Ryan's twisted ankle at the gym. $1,200, stamped, paid in full, courtesy of Barbara's overtime hustle. She tosses in the fresh receipt and updates the lid in clean pencil strokes. For Jessica's future, $21,700. Ethan moves into the Napa guest wing, runs vineyard ops, learns cab from Merlot, never misses Saturday morning with Robert. Kid calls me Mimi and asks why grapes taste like sunshine. I tell him Grandpa kissed every vine before he bounced. Ethan don't correct me. Juliet's senior center gig pays $19 per hour. Polyester polo, name in cursive residents want coffee refills and bingo cards swapped. She does it, no complaints. Evictions the alternative. Insta stuck at 2,100. Algo. Forgot her. Lila Park's empire. Craters. 6 weeks after I shut her down. Carlos's fund scoops her debt for high pennies. She files Chapter 7. Bolts to Phoenix to crash with an aunt I send one white rose in a plain vase. No card. Rosa and Carlos honeymoon in Tuscany. Postcards of olive groves and sun-soaked piazzas, I frame 'em over the flower shop counter. Customers ask who the hot couple is. I say, family war. Camry dies. On a Tuesday in July, transmission seizes on Tulwar, Lakeshore Drive. I leave it on the shoulder, keys in, note. Junkyard bound, earned my rest. Take the L.E. home first time in decades. Teen gives me his seat, I thank him, and Audi mean it. Penthouse sells to a tech bro who wants a VR museum, Asto. Drops $35 million, all cash, all charity. Hughes Foundation buys a South Side city block, flips it to low-income senior housing. Every unit gets a balcony with a rose trellis. I plant the first one myself. Robert starts kindergarten, backpack bigger than him. Ethan walks him to the bus stop every morning. I watch from the vineyard porch, coffee coolin'. Kid waves till the bus turns the corner. Ethan waves longer. Juliet sends a crayon birthday card. On Robert's 6th, $5 bill inside. Ethan shows me. I tuck the bill in the off petty cash jar. Card hits the Aho's fireplace. Year 10. Foundations awarded. 2,000 scholarships. Southside Complex. Full. Residents grow tomatoes in window boxes. Beef over bingo. I visit Thursdays. Bring fresh roses. Listen to stories about grandkids who graduated. 'Cause someone believed. Ethan proposes to a pediatric nurse named Maya. They tie the knot in the vineyard at dusk. 50 guests. String trio. No phones. Robert's ring bearer drops the pillow twice, laughs so hard he hiccups. I catch the bouquet, accidentally. Crowd loses it. She had zero clue the future already went down. Without her in the picture, Barbara was juggling 2 full gigs. Days slinging at the Flamingo gift shop, wrapping shot glasses in that neon tissue paper for tourists who hit her with ma'am every time and never bothered learning her name. Nights at the Bellagio coffee kiosk. Steaming oat milk for them influencers, filming their avocado toast reels, but never even glancing up. Tips averaging $23 a shift coffee? Free perk, baby. Sleep? Straight up urban legend. Jessica blasting selfies from them rooftop bars, the strip sparkling behind her, and Ryan in matching Ray-Bans. Jessica. Dream venue tour tomorrow. You're literally an angel. Barbara shoots back a pic of herself under the gift shop fluorescence, looking 60 when she's only 48. Barbara. Working late so you can have your dream wedding. Love you. She wasn't feeling no angelic vibes. Felt more like an ATM rockin' bunions and a bum knee. The silk flower arch shows up in a tube long as a pool cue. Barbara puts it together at 2 a.m. After a brutal double shift, living room carpet straight littered with wire stems and fake ivory petals scattering everywhere. She films a quick vid for Jessica, who hits her with one heart eyes emoji and nothing else. The transfers just keep rolling in. $800 for the engagement ring consultation. At some jeweler on the strip, $400 straight to the honeymoon fund. $200 for something blue lingerie Jessica scoped on Pinterest. $1,200 when Ryan twisted his ankle and had to hit the ER. Barbara cosigns their $1,100 a month lease on a 1-bedroom off the strip because Jessica's credit score wasn't there yet. She covers the security deposit, the pet fee for their rescue mutt named Vegas. Even the $89 parking ticket Ryan snagged outside the courthouse. Every single promise, identical script. We'll pay you back after the wedding, Mom. Promise. Barbara scoops the mother of the bride dress on sale at Dillard's. Pale blue chiffon, T-length, $89.99 marked down. She hangs it in the closet right next to the arch, still wrapped in plastic. She's envisioning walking Jessica down the aisle. Tony checked out when Jessica was 12. Greg, the stepdad, used car kingpin of Henderson, didn't do emotional stuff. Barbara had been practicing her speech in the shower. Jessica, you've been my whole world since the day you were born. Then that Tuesday rolls around. Barbara's on break in the employee lounge, chowing down a stale bagel that tastes like straight cardboard and regret. When Instagram pings hard Jessica's story, she taps it quick. Rooftop at sunset, golden hour poppin'. Jessica in a simple white sundress. Ryan in linen threads. Greg in a powder blue suit, arms slung around Jessica like he patented fatherhood. The caption, she said yes, again, to forever. Vegas vows, family first. Barbara's bagel crumbles to dust in her mouth. She zooms in deep, no arch anywhere. No pale blue dress, no mother in sight. She replays the story 3 times, 4, 5, scanning the background for herself like a ghost crashing a family photo. Nothing. Zip. At 11:47 p.m., she clocks out early, peels out driving home with the windows cranked down so the desert wind can smack the tears right off her face before they even drop. She ditches her phone in the cup holder. The screen keeps blowing up. Jessica, Ryan, Greg, Jessica again. She doesn't read a damn one. 48 hours later, the text drops while she's folding laundry in the casino staff lounge. The dryer's thumping like a heartbeat she don't even recognize no more. Jessica, mom emergency. Casino lost our reception deposit. Long story. Total scam. Need $1,800 by 5 p.m. to rebook the Sky Lounge, or we lose the whole weekend. Please, please, please. I'll pay you back after the honeymoon. Barbara stares till the letters blur into neon soup mess. The lounge reeks of burnt coffee and bleach. A walkie-talkie crackles about some spilled drink on the high roller floor. She fires up her banking app. Balance $2,147.63. Rent due in 6 days flat. She shuts the app, opens Venmo, types a message, deletes it, types again. Barbara. Deposit lost, but I just hit the jackpot. She attaches a photo, her employee badge clipped to a lanyard. Bellagio, VIP services. And a bingo card stamped with a fat red winner, $1,800 on the dot. The progressive jackpot from the staff tournament she'd entered on a total whim last month. Forgot all about it until the HR lady hunted her down that morning with an envelope thick as a deli sandwich. Jessica calls right then and there. Barbara lets it ring out twice. On the third go, she picks up. Mom? What bingo? You're not making sense. I won, Jess, first time in 22 years, grinding in this godforsaken desert. $1,800. Tax-free, baby. Barbara's voice sounds like somebody else's. Steady as hell. Almost amused for real. I'm cashing it tonight. Silence hits. Then Jessica's laugh, sharp as the broken glass crunching outside the casino doors. That's great, but we need the money. The venue? Already booked something better? Barbara zips her duffel bag shut. Inside, 2 sundresses she'd never even worn. The silk flower arch disassembled into a carry-on tube. A confirmation email for a solo junior suite at the Bellagio. Fountain view. 3 nights locked in. Sky Lounge is overrated AF. I hear the fountains dance every 15 minutes on the dot. You're joking. Check my location. Barbara had flipped on sharing the second she clocked out the little blue dot pulsing outside the Bellagio Valet. Jessica's voice cracks like cheap plastic snapping. You can't just... I can, and I am. Barbara slings the bag over her shoulder. You taught me something, honey. Keep it small, intimate, just the special people. She hangs up before Jessica can even scream. The Bellagio lobby smells like straight money and gardenias. And that kind of hope Barbara had straight up forgotten was even a thing. She checks in under her own name. No +1, no mother of the bride corsage pinned to her chest like some consolation prize bullshit. The clerk hands her a key card and a chilled bottle of Prosecco. Welcome home, Ms. Russo. Her room's on the 23rd floor. She throws open the curtains and watches the fountains explode in perfect sync to some Italian opera she don't know the name of. The silk arch fits perfect over the balcony railing. She strings up fairy lights from her gift shop discount stash and snaps a selfie with the strip glittering behind her, like a promise she finally kept to herself downstairs. The bingo parlors hosted a midnight tournament. Barbara buys in with her winnings. Table 7, seat 3. The caller's a drag queen named Lady Luck, rocking a sequined cowboy hat and calling numbers like straight gospel B4. Lady Luck bellows. And honey, that's before you ghost your mama. The room roars loud. Barbara laughs so hard her ribs hurt for the first time in years straight. She doesn't win the midnight game, but she don't give a damn. She orders a steak at the cafe, medium rare, the way Tony used to like it, and charges it to the room the waiter calls her ma'am, with that real respect that don't come with no strings attached. At 2:14 a.m., her phone buzzes like an angry hornet, a whole string of texts from Jessica, then Ryan, then Greg offering to mediate, if Barbara would be reasonable. Barbara mutes the thread and cracks open the minibar tiny bottle of gin. Tiny bottle of tonic. She toasts the fountains and drinks till the city blurs into watercolor vibes. The next morning, she wakes to sunlight slicing through the curtains and the smell of bacon drifting up from the cafe below. Her phone's dead. Intentionally, no cap. She showers, throws on the sundress she'd bought for Jessica's rehearsal dinner, and takes the elevator down to the pool. The cabanas are booked solid with influencers in microscopic bikinis, but the attendant clocks her badge from the sister property. VIP services, right? We've got a daybed with your name on it. He leads her past the chaos to a shaded lounger facing the water. A bucket of ice pops up. A mimosa. A towel folded into a swan. Barbara spends the day reading a paperback thriller she snagged from the gift shop. Some story about a woman who fakes her own death in Cabo She dog ears pages and orders a second mimosa. At noon, the DJ plays Sweet Caroline, and the entire pool sings along. She joins in, off-key and sunburned and gloriously alone. That afternoon, she walks the strip with zero itinerary. She plays $20 in a slot machine shaped like a giant buffalo and wins $180 easy. She buys a ticket to the Cirque show Jessica had once said was too expensive for family night. Front row, baby. The acrobats flip through the air like gravity's optional during intermission. She posts a single story, a blurry photo of the stage lights, captioned, "Worth every penny." Jessica sees it. Of course she does. The messages start piling up again. Voice memos, all caps, a blurry photo of the Sky Lounge contract with a red asterisk canceled stamp. Barbara lets them stack like casino chips. She has zero intention of cashing on her last night. She heads back to the bingo parlor. Lady Luck's off. The caller's a retiree named Earl rockin' a visor and calling numbers in a monotone. Barbara buys 3 cards. The room's half empty. Just a few diehards and a bachelorette party in matching veils. She needs one number. I-23. Earl pulls the ball. I-23. That's I as in, I'm done being your doormat, folks. Barbara's card lights up. Full house. The prize? $5,000. She stands on shaky legs, while Earl counts out the cash in crisp hundreds. The bachelorette party cheers like she's one of theirs. Someone drapes a plastic tiara on her head. She lets him take a photo. Back in her room, she spreads the money across the bed like a deck of cards. $5,000, plus the $1,800 bingo win, plus the $2,147 she'd left in her checking account. Almost $9,000 that didn't have Jessica's name anywhere on it. She books a flight to Maui for the following month. First class, because why the hell not? She buys a new suitcase, the kind with spinner wheels, and a built-in charger. She schedules a teeth whitening and a haircut that didn't come from Supercuts. The day she checks out, the Bellagio hooks her a complimentary upgrade for her next stay. Anytime, Ms. Russo, you're family now. She laughs so hard the doorman asks if she's okay. Back in her apartment, the shoebox of receipts is still under the bed. She pulls it out, carries it to the kitchen, and lights a match. The flames curl the corners of the silk flower invoice first, then the Venmo screenshots, then the grocery list written in Jessica's loopy handwriting. The smoke alarm chirps once before she opens the window. Jessica shows up 3 days later. Ryan trails behind her like a shadow. They stand in the hallway, clutching a manila folder and the kind of expressions people wear to funerals. "Mom, we need to talk," Jessica starts. Her voice has that practiced tremor, same one she'd used to ask for the honeymoon fund. "The lawyer says..." Barbara holds up a hand. "Lawyer's on vacation. So am I." She steps aside so they can see the suitcase by the door. The new passport on the counter, the printed itinerary. Maui, 14 days, solo traveler. Ryan tries next. We're short on rent again. The casino job cut hours. "Try Greg," Barbara says. "He's got that new lot in Henderson. I hear trade-ins are hot." Jessica's eyes fill with tears. "Real ones this time. Or close enough. You're really doing this? After everything?" Barbara picks up the suitcase. "Everything was the problem, sweetheart. I gave you 31 months of everything. Turns out I only needed 72 hours of nothing to remember who I am." She closes the door softly. No slam. No drama. Just the click of a lock that finally turned in her favor. At the airport, she buys a coffee with oat milk and a croissant that costs more than her old hourly wage. She sits at the gate watching families wrangle toddlers and couples argue over boarding passes. When they call her Rao, she walks down the jetway without looking back. Somewhere over the Pacific, she opens the in-flight magazine and circles an ad for a senior singles cruise to Alaska. Departs June. No kids, no drama, all inclusive. She smiles, folds the page, and tucks it into her passport. The silk flower arch is in her checked luggage, disassembled and wrapped in the sundress she'd worn poolside. She has plans for it: a balcony in Maui, a sunset, maybe a new friend who didn't need Venmo to love her. Jessica texts once from the tarmac. This isn't over. Barbara turns off her phone, leans back, and watches the clouds roll by like bingo balls waiting to be called. For the first time in years, she wasn't waiting for her number. She was the jackpot, and that was just the beginning. Maui, 4 weeks later. The resort in Wailea smells like plumeria and salt straight up. Barbara checks in under her own name. No +1, no mother of the bride corsage. The concierge gives her a lei made of orchids that smells like forgiveness. Her room overlooks the ocean, and every morning she wakes to the sound of waves and the realization that no one needs her to fix a damn thing. She spends the first day floating in the infinity pool with a paperback thriller about a woman who fakes her own death in Cabo. She dog-ears pages and orders a second Mai Tai. At sunset, she reassembles the silk flower arch on her lanai and takes a photo with the Pacific behind her. She posts it to her private Instagram. 37 followers, mostly coworkers, with the caption, "Worth every penny." Jessica sees it. The messages start again. Back in Vegas, Jessica and Ryan are spiraling hard. The Sky Lounge deposit is non-refundable. Ryan's parents refuse to cover it. Greg, the stepdad, offers to mediate if Barbara would be reasonable. Jessica takes a second job at a dispensary, but the tips barely cover their electric bill. They miss rent. The landlord leaves a 3-day notice taped to the door. Jessica shows up at Barbara's apartment unannounced. Eyes red from crying or weed. Or both. Ryan hovers behind her like a shadow with a man bun. "Mom, please, we're drowning." Barbara is packing for Maui. The new suitcase sits open on the couch, stuffed with sundresses and sunscreen and the silk flower arch in a carry-on tube. "You're breathing," Barbara says. "That's not drowning." Jessica's voice breaks. "I miss you." Barbara sets down the sunscreen. "You miss the version of me who paid your bills? I miss the version of you who called just to say hi." Jessica leaves without another word. The legal threats come next. A letter from a law firm on Sahara Avenue claiming Barbara is exhibiting signs of cognitive decline and demanding a competency evaluation. Barbara takes it to Mr. Weber, the estate attorney who'd handled Tony's will. He laughs so hard he has to take off his glasses. "They're trying to bootstrap elder abuse statutes to force access to your accounts," he says. Classic move when the gravy train derails. Barbara signs a new will, leaving everything to the animal shelter and a scholarship fund for single mothers. She moves her accounts to a credit union Jessica had never heard of. She installs a Ring camera and changes the locks. Jessica and Ryan try one last time, showing up at Barbara's door with a cake from Freed's Bakery and a card that says, "We're sorry," in Jessica's loopy handwriting. Barbara opens the door but doesn't invite them in. "I forgive you," she says. But forgiveness isn't a blank check. Jessica starts crying. Ryan looks like he wants to punch something. Barbara closes the door. 6 months later, Barbara boards the senior singles cruise to Alaska. She wears the pale blue dress and the orchid lei from Maui. The silk flower arch is in her suitcase, reassembled on the balcony of her stateroom as the ship pulls out of Seattle. She meets a retired engineer named Tom, who plays ukulele and makes her laugh until her sides hurt. They watch glaciers calve and whales breach and drink hot chocolate spiked with Baileys under the northern lights. Jessica sends one final text from an unknown number. "I named my daughter Barbara. She's 2 months old. I wish you could meet her." Barbara stares at the message for a long time. Then she turns off her phone and goes to the midnight buffet. She eats crab legs and chocolate mousse and dances with Tom to a cover band playing Sweet Caroline. When the cruise ends, She flies home to Vegas and hangs the silk flower arch above her fireplace. She frames the photo from the Alaska balcony, her and Tom under the lights, the arch glowing like a halo. Jessica never texts again. Barbara lives another 23 years. She travels to Paris, Machu Picchu, and a tiny island in Greece, where the cats follow her everywhere. She paints watercolors that sell at the local artisan market. She fosters 17 dogs and one blind goose. She never co-signs another loan. When she dies at 95, the animal shelter receives $1.2 million and a note in her handwriting. For every